Today we'll be going over how to clean and jerk as a beginner. That includes the squat clean and the power clean, and I'll go over the differences a little bit later. But before we get started on the actual lift, there are two things I want to talk to you about to make your life a hell of a lot easier before you get started and improve your lifts as you go down the line. First one is called hook grip, the way you're going to grab onto the bar. So right here, I have some athletic tape on my thumb right here. I just wrapped it around about once or twice. What this is going to do is just going to make it more comfortable and more secure for me when I grip the bar. So imagine this is the barbell. I'm going to grab on. I'm going to put my thumb under first and then wrap my fingers over the bar as I grab onto it, right? This is going to secure the bar so that it doesn't spin out of my hands when I'm going to transition and catch the bar onto my front rack position. So that is the number one thing that I want you to start getting used to, because it can be really uncomfortable as a beginner. But as you build up some calluses on your thumbs, strengthen your thumbs, and as it gets heavier, it'll feel more comfortable if you've been getting used to it. Number two is weightlifting shoes. Now, I debated going back and forth whether I should recommend this at the very beginning, but these shoes really will help you get into much better positions and make the lift much more comfortable because of the raised heel to help you get into the lifting and the squatting, especially if you're doing a squat clean or the standard clean and jerk. So I will link below a shoe that I recommend. This is just an old pair of Adidas, but I recommend the new ones that have a wider toe box. They just generally feel a little more comfortable as you're squatting down into the shoe. Let's go over the starting position. I'll kind of break down how I set myself up into the lift to set me up for a good lift off the ground and getting the bar to my front rack position, which is just basically my collar boots. So I start from a whole standing position, squeeze my glutes, take a big breath in, try to fill up my belly, right? This is going to brace me so that I have to take a good position to start. From there, I go down into a full squat, grab onto the bar. Now my grip, what I typically do is I put my thumb at the beginning of the knurling where it gets rough on the barbell, open my hand up, and that is where my hand position is going to be. And then I wrap my thumb around. The from here, full squat. Then I'm going to come up into the point where I am tight. And like if I stand up anymore, I'm going to be fully off the ground. Last set is I'm going to grab onto the bar, squeeze onto my thumbs, and squeeze my shoulder blades back. This is going to set my back so it's nice and flat. I'm ready to lift off. The bar is slightly off my shin. It's not like a typical deadlift. My hips are also lower than typical deadlift because as I pull, I'm going to be shifting into two phases. I want to lift. As I get just above my knees, I'm going to start to stand and press slightly backwards. So the bar is rubbing against my thighs here, right? As I do this, I'm going to do this explosively and essentially jump slightly, move my feet out, and touch the bar into a squat. That was kind of what. So let's go over that. We'll also be going over a couple of drills to break that down so it's less steps to have to think about as you're starting. You can just focus on one thing at a time. But as you're doing that, you're going to pull back. So let's go over that again. Set up, really tight, squeeze my shoulder blades back, straight back. I'm going to lift as I get just over to my knees. I'm going to pull back and explosively and catch into my front rack. Now, just to show you position here, my shoulders are pulling out of the bar and my elbows are in front of me, right? As my posture is upright, I will be able to hold on to the bar. If I start to dip forward, I drop. So it's important to maintain a good posture during this exercise. Now, after that second pull, after the bar passes my knees and I start to pull back, I'm starting to think about how I'm going to explode so my feet come slightly off the ground, that I can shift them to the side to get my squat stance. And I'm going to pull, use my arms just a little bit, pull back and just flip the bar around. So I'm thinking about flipping my elbows under the bar. I'm not really pulling the bar up to me, although the explosiveness is going to help with that. I'm trying to get myself under the bar. So I'm pulling myself under the bar, catching it onto my shoulders. From there, the squat is relatively self-explanatory, as long as you set yourself up in a good position with your feet. From there, let's go over the standing position and how to do the jerk. So stood up through a squat after our clean or in position to jerk. My feet are maybe slightly narrower than my original squat stance. From here, what I'm going to do is dip down by bending my hips and my knees, like so. But notice, I'm pretty much still vertical with my torso. I don't want to be pushing my butt back so much that I start leaning forward, because my goal is to get the bar directly over my head. So that looks like this. You do it all in one fluid motion. Now you'll probably notice I split my feet there. So let's go over what that looks like and what you want to be doing. So what I did there was called a split jerk. So let's talk about how you want to be moving your feet and then what that looks like as what your goal is to try and center yourself without losing your balance. So I just clean it. Jerk. Now, for right here, I have my left leg forward, my right leg back. My right knee behind me is slightly bent. The first step I'm going to take is to move my left foot back, like so, and then come up with my right foot. The reason I don't move my right foot first is because that will give me oftentimes too much forward momentum, and then I will end up throwing the weight forward and losing my balance. So you have to think about, with all that weight over your head, especially as it gets heavier and heavier, you want to make smaller but more deliberate movements to keep your balance and make sure you don't drop the weight. Now, this is a complex movement, but one of the hardest things for people to do is to get that transition from their waist to the bar getting up to their shoulders. So let's go over one drill, really just breaking down the movement in one simple step to help you get used to that and help you get used to this. Another note is, instead of starting with weight, I recommend you start with something like a PVC pipe or a broomstick, so there's no weight, just so you get used to doing the movement over and over and over again. That way your brain learns when you do use a bar, okay, I jump up, the bar essentially becomes weightless or less weight, and then I can transition it to my shoulders, dropping myself under the bar, under the broomstick, under the PVC pipe. So it will look like this. Going to set up exactly how I told you before. So squat down, set your hands nice and tight. Then you're going to stand up like you would have the bar at that left position. From here, I'm going to start with a little bit of bend in my knees. I'm going to push my butt back until the bar is just above my knees. And I'm only going to do the portion where I go from my knees up to my hips and then drive to catch the bar. So it looks like this. It's called a hang clean. Here, by the way, you can do this in the squat clean like so, or going to a power clean, which is catching the bar anywhere above 90 degrees in the squat, like this. That's all the beginner tips I have for clean and jerk. There's still plenty of stuff we could absolutely go over. So what I recommend is that you comment down below, subscribe so you can stay tuned if you want to learn more about this, or if you have any more questions, I can create some more videos and answer your questions for you. My name is Connor Ganser. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I have plenty of experience doing Olympic lifting, but mostly looking to teach beginners here. So again, like, subscribe, I really appreciate it, and stay tuned. Thank you.